Hello, everybody, and welcome to Project Talk with Glenn and Uncle Ron.
Hello.
Well, James will be here too. Uh, he was just running late, and I wanted to make sure that we started on time just because Mitch had to be a smarty and post that about not starting on time. So I kind of left James hang, but he'll be joining us as soon as he possibly can. So this is the part where I normally go. I'm Glenn from Fun King 3D, and with me, as always, is my brother from another mother, James. But like I said, he'll be here in a moment. But for those of you who don't know Uncle Ron, that's Uncle Ron.
Hola.
So he's normally just in the chat, but he is here in the great state of Florida for Maker Faire, which is happening next weekend.
Yep, next weekend.
Super exciting. Which does lead me to have to tell you that there will not be a stream next weekend because I will be at Maker Faire, and I would stream live from there, but the internet is so bad. It is so bad when you're there. So that's just not going to happen. But it looks like Mitch was first. Didn't call first, though. Mark slid in with a second, and Mitch was kind enough to tell him he'd give him first. So somewhere in there, somebody can have bragging rights. We also have Sergio from HVAC A to Z here. Clint is here. Alan Osborne. That Fun King guy is here. That Uncle Ron guy is here. 3D Homebrew is here. MJ is here. Ollie, Nadav, and Mitch throwing down 11 US dollarinos with a, I guess I'm bad at betting you win. Well, Mitch, first of all, thank you for the $11, but that was kind of stacked against you because I had all of the control.
But at the same time, he hasn't really lost yet because you still have the opportunity to talk about the truck, which you haven't done. I just did. That doesn't count.
Well, now I get to because he already gave me the $11.
Right. We still may have retro James.
Mark said Mitch got it fair and square. Tom Elrod has slid in. Manny the engineer is here, and Alan King. So hello everybody. Alan King.
Isn't he like famous?
Sure he is. He's the guy that won the Prusa printer that I still haven't shipped. I'm so sorry, Alan. I swear it's coming. I swear.
Hand delivered at Murph.
He's over the pond.
Oh.
He's on the other side of the big pond.
He'll have to travel.
And there's Rover. Hey, Rover. So it's funny that you should pop in today because I was just talking about you, I think just Friday night. Sean Shenanigans and I were talking about how you used to do all the mailings with all the giveaways and stuff. So
we got Print and Play Retrospective wants to know where the fat guy is that's usually here. Well, we got another fat guy. Fat people are interchangeable. You didn't know that?
I thought that said frat guy. I was thinking like a party animal from a college. So, but well, that's awesome, Rover. I'm glad. I hadn't seen and or heard from you in a while. I've been kind of away from social medias and things lately. I post on Twitter very, very infrequently because just because my schedule is so busy. Yeah, that's actually what started the conversation. Was we were talking about how when I first got into 3D printing, like all of the channels, everybody was always doing giveaways. Gleam was the thing. Like there was a Gleam giveaway every day. And then
37 subscribers.
Well, and then YouTube came in and said you can't use giveaways to drive subscriber count anymore. And then people quit. It was like the only reason they were doing it. So. Print and Play Retrospective said, I'll be in shortly. Just need to get Glenn talking about his truck so I can sneak in my latest retro computer. Well, actually, my latest project is Christmas lights. Welcome to November. So, yeah, we started full bore yesterday. I got the big mega tree put up yesterday and a little bit out today, and I feel like I'm 80 years old.
You are.
Holy crap, I'm tired. So it's it's been a great deal of work.
If you're 80, it means I'm 90 though.
Man, Mark's trying to set me up. It's all right. I already have Mitch's $11. I can talk about whatever I want to. And there would be many updates on the truck, but Just motion at the front door. It might just be the wife leaving though. Yeah. I love doing Christmas lights. I want to start this statement out with that. I love putting up the lights. I love the joy that it brings other people. It warms the cockles of my heart when people drive by and honk their horn as we're putting stuff up because they're excited. And then people stop. Sometimes they bring us cookies.
That's cool.
I mean, they've brought us baked goods. It's amazing, but the amount of work. I mean, we've got it down to about 3 weeks now. 3 weeks to be able to put everything up. But it's 3 weeks of busting butt. And now, of course, this year, we have Maker Faire, which, I mean, we've always had Maker Faire, but
it falls a little differently this year, I think.
Well, and what's weird is, like, I kind of wasn't thinking about it. And I said, oh, we'll go rent the lift next weekend and put the stuff on the house. And then I'm like, can't. We got Maker Faire. So now we're kind of scrambling, but I've never missed ever Black Friday lighting. So, okay. And it's not going to start this year.
You've got what? You got 2.5 weeks to get the stuff together?
Yeah. So, but it's fine. It's fine. Who needs sleep?
You got to set a camera up out front and just do a live stream showing your lights.
I would love to, but it would have to be across the street. Otherwise, it won't see everything. Or I'd have to get some kind of like really weird wide angle. But even then, it really needs to be across the street. So I'd have to figure out. And the neighbor across the street doesn't have power right here.
So solar panels.
The nearest, probably. You could probably run I mean, I could set up Wi-Fi outside pretty easy.
Point to point.
I don't know. I mean, the neighbor wouldn't have any issue with me doing it. Like I check with him every year to make sure that everything's still okay and that, like it's not causing any problems. And, I check with all the nearby neighbors because I play Christmas music like 5 hours a night every night. So, but
you go up to what, midnight?
Midnight on the weekends. On Friday night and Saturday night, it runs to 11 on 9 o'clock during the week, 11 on Fridays and Saturdays.
Yeah, I've only been down here at the holiday time to see your full display once. And that was, I think I was down here before I went on the cruise around New Year's. You still had it up. You hadn't taken it down yet.
Yeah, it runs all the way until the stroke of midnight on New Year's Eve. It plays Auld Lang Syne at midnight. And up until 2 years ago, nobody else had ever seen that.
Really?
Yeah, like we go out and watch it. And nobody even drove by every year that we did it. And then last year somebody drove by. So yeah. But it's a good time. Mitch said, yeah, my cards didn't align with Orlando Maker Faire. I'd feel better about conventions next year. Yeah, I'm kind of bummed too, Mitch, but it's probably better because I'm going to be stupid crazy busy this whole time too. So so maybe next year is the year. I am going to exhibit next year. I mean, the guy that looks like me that runs the other YouTube channel, that Fun King Garage or whatever it's called, he's going to exhibit next year. I have some good ideas.
Oh, yeah?
I'll share them with you later.
Okay.
I'm not going to make it publicly known just yet, but
everybody else got to suffer for a year.
Yeah. Fun King Garage is going to exhibit at Orlando Maker Faire next year. I say that tentatively. I'm going to talk to the powers that be and make sure that it's okay to do what I want to do, but I think it'll be really cool.
She just went out.
No. I mean Maker Effects, the guys that put on Maker Faire itself. So I have to keep remembering to look down to see because James will join in and then like I'll miss the fact that he's down in the green room and I won't add him.
Oh.
I'll be busy talking and he won't.
He'll show up down in a lot.
Yeah, he'll be down to the right of us down there. So,
Fun King 3D apparel and other stuff.
Yeah, nobody ever buys Fun King 3D apparel. I actually don't even know if it's available, but I am actually working on making Fun King Garage apparel available very, very soon. I think I've got a good plan in place for that.
So you and I have to discuss that when we get the silk screen press up and going.
Yeah, well, we will talk because it's actually like connections that you gave me that I think is the way I'm going to go for right now. So, but
that's really simple.
Yeah, I'm going to handle it all in-house. So that way I don't have to share the profits. So I can take all of your money and put it on the ground and roll around in it. Because you guys know I love to roll around in the money.
Be sure to pay him in dimes so they get stuck in places he doesn't want them stuck.
Hey, Brian, sliding in here. Tom Llama's in the house. Yes.
Oh, I miss Tom. Hey, Tom.
Yeah, it's Tom. See, there's a little icon.
Oh, I'm looking at that one. I can actually read that one easier.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they come up at two different. That's why I have them both open. They come up at two different paces sometimes. So it's.
Yeah, the distance on that is fine for me without my glasses.
Well, see, and a lot of times I'll have this, and I'll just like do the text really big. Hey, you can move that mic if that mic is in your way. How is the audio today? I know last week Tom said that I sounded like I was talking through a webcam. You can see my mic there. It's not right up to my mouth, but hopefully that's good. Oh, look at Rover's in here cheerleading for us, wanting people to hit the thumbs up. People don't actually like these videos, Rover. I don't even know why people show up. No, I'm kidding. Everybody in here is like family. You come to see what kind of damage I did. Which, speaking of, I got some new damage here, which I pinched myself with like a 40-pound piece of pipe. Pinched me and took some skin off. That was a pretty good one. So, yep, I even had Sean Shenanigans out there yesterday helping out put up the big tree. So when I first built that tree, this particular rendition of it, because it's gone through, I don't know, 10 different versions to finally become this.
Does that include the rebuild when the wind helped it?
No, well, I rebuilt it exactly like it is. Like it wasn't a new version; it was just a replacement parts for the parts that broke. But so this tree to put up when it started was like a day and a half. It would take a whole solid day, but I would preset some of it like the day before. So then as we got better with it, it would just be a solid day. I'd start at about 7 o'clock in the morning, usually on a Saturday, 7 o'clock in the morning. And I was still out there. It was dark and the mosquitoes were biting me in the head. So it took a solid day. It was probably 13, maybe 14 hours, start to finish to get that thing up. Now I made some changes to it. I'm using a different method to crank it up. It's a telescopic pole. It's 3 pieces of pipe inside, like a big 2-inch piece, 1.25 inches, and then a 1 inch. And it used a trailer tongue jack to bring it up. It would bring it up 11 inches, and you'd put a pin in it, and you'd bring the jack down. And then you put a pin in it, jack it up 11 inches, put a pin in it. You'd do this over and over and over again. And even using a drill to run that jack up and down, it took like about 2.5 hours just for the lift.
Oh, wow.
And in the process of doing that lift, the wires, which they're 49 feet. So they're approximately 25 because we have them. They go up and back down. So approximately 25 foot of line. But so it starts off 10 feet tall. And then as you start to bring it up, the wires are moving in like this. They have nowhere else to go because they have to then form the Christmas tree. Well, as they start to push in and you're on top of that ladder, like they're on you and they're like dragging against you. And I know I don't have a lot of hair, but there's enough there. And it grabs your hairs and pulls your hairs. And it was just really awful. So I changed that trailer jack out for a trailer strap winch, like what you'd pull a boat up onto a trailer with. And we can now raise that thing 6 feet at a time before we have to put a pin in it. And it's not like this. It's like as fast as I want to crank that thing. It's just zinging up in the air.
It's like what, 21, 22 feet tall?
It turns out to be 28.5 feet. Yeah, from the ground to the top of the star.
Oof.
So, and it's like 8,400 LEDs, I think. I think is what it worked out to be. I'd have to do the math again, but
I'm glad you don't have serial bulbs, because some moron like me would go by just to mess with you and like unscrew one.
well, actually, if you pull one, you lose about a third of the strand. It's 3 groupings. So if you pull a bulb out, which we did have to change out, we had one bad strand on it, which actually got damaged when it fell that year, which was 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So it was problematic. Well, when we hooked it up this year, a third of the strand was out. And ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you my brother from another mother, James. What happened to our background?
Retro Man.
I must have not turned off the black background.
Retro Computer Truckman is here again.
What?
Ah,
No, that's not the background. Oh, it's because I clicked on this. There we go.
how
I
is
did
the
it.
sound?
I did it. You sound fine.
Okay, I'm using my headset today.
That'll be fine. No
I was going
echo.
to take the time to try and go get something set up in the basement to show off, and I was like, by the time I'm done that, half the show will be over. So
Yeah,
I think I noticed you weren't in the dungeon.
it's fine. It's fine. So
I thought we were doing something today that we didn't end up doing, and as a result, I didn't plan.
well, we
it
don't.
back
Yeah.
as planned.
Okay. So give me a second. I gotta release the hounds. My cat wants to go down. There you go, babe.
Uncle Ron. It's
What's
a
up, James?
magnificent beard. Magnificent beard, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Santa Claus won't miss it till, I don't know, another month or so.
So James and I don't speak to one another throughout the week.
We always say that we're going to.
Yeah, you'd think that we would, and we don't. And it's just because we both have busy lives. But in fact, it's funny because every Sunday I send James a link to the stream, the private link. And then some weeks when I go in to send him the link, the only thing that I'd sent him before that was the link the week before.
Yeah, it has happened from time to time.
Yeah, it's just the way it is. And do I feel bad about it? Yeah. Am I going to change? Probably not, because
I think we both accept this is the way our friendship is. It's not that we're equally neglectful to each other, and that makes it okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, I when it comes to stuff like that, I'm a terrible friend. It's just the way it is. So
This
James
terrible
sent me
friendship-
a message this morning and said, "Do we want to do Minecraft?" And that was at 10 o'clock this morning. And I just straight up ignored him all day long. And actually, what happens? So I get my Twitter DMs to my watch, which is my phone. I get it on this computer. I get it on my tablet. I get it on my laptop. I get it on my other computer. Well, what happens is if it's open on a computer, it doesn't notify me because it thinks I've already read it. So
That happens to me all the time too.
It's the little pop-up window in Twitter. If that pop-up window is open, that's what thinks that I've read it, which, I typically have that up during the stream here in case James wants to send me a message like, don't talk about that guy. He's mean or whatever. So, so yeah, I get in here and James is like, do you want to play Minecraft today? Which, I mean, wouldn't have worked out because Uncle Ron doesn't want to sit here and watch us play Minecraft. And we can't both play on this computer. That'd be weird.
Well, I've done it from home before.
But yeah, so I didn't give him an answer until, and I actually didn't know that Uncle Ron was going to be on with us until about 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
So we were hanging out in the garage, and then I just got a notification from Mark, and it came to my watch because I didn't have him open in the little window. So yeah, it's I'm not going to say I hate Twitter because I don't hate Twitter. I just hate that it does that.
Yeah.
So now I got to go.
Can you still hear me right now?
I can't see you, but I can hear you.
Okay, I'm just making sure. I wanted to make sure.
Mark, he said that he was just testing me to see if I was lying. But it's weird, Mark, is it didn't actually show up in my Twitter.
No.
It came to my watch, but it didn't come to my Twitter. I'm going to refresh this and see.
James was he's got a Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, so there, I had to refresh. Don't say anything about that. That's a secret. You shouldn't see that. But yeah, I had to refresh to actually see that, Mark. But it did come to my watch. So Yeah, I was going to spend the stream today wiping out my phone and reinstalling it because it has a new problem where it won't actively hand off between Wi-Fi hotspots.
You know what's really funny?
What's that?
That was my back. So my current phone is like definitely on its last legs, and we had to do a bunch of stuff with our. I'm just gonna turn this back on for a second. We had to do a bunch of stuff for our mortgage this week, and I'd have to do a conference call, and it would get stuck in this, like, you know how most phones have a light sensor, so that they're when they're against your face,
Yep.
it keeps getting stuck in this loop where it reverses the logic. So if it's against my face, it lights up, and then as soon as I take it away, it goes blank. So then I'm trying to get it to reset, putting my hand on it. So a bunch of people got voicemails where I'm trying to hang up the phone and I can't get the screen to light up until, so I cover it. But if I'm not covering it just right, it doesn't. So because we got a bunch of financial stuff going on with our mortgage right now, I'm trying to hold off for a couple more months on buying a new phone, and because
Right.
I buy my phones outright, and I don't want to cheap out on the phone. So I'm going back to my old Nexus 6P, which I had actually just finished rebuilding when I got this phone. So it's been sitting there with a brand new battery, brand new screen, brand new case, doing nothing. So my backup plan for today was the last part showed up today, so I was going to spend the day transferring my data and getting all that stuff up, and then I was like, I'll just go hang out with the guys instead. So
Well, I've been meaning over the last like week and a half to wipe it out, and I'm sorry, Mitch, I forgot to put your banner up, but it's up now. I don't even know if that's going to fix it. Like I thought I was having Wi-Fi problems, so I started chasing Wi-Fi issues, and nobody else in the house is having a problem.
Now it's an issue with transferring between
Okay, so
APs on the same SID.
I have an access point here. It's
Okay.
underneath this cabinet on the floor, because it takes care of upstairs and downstairs. It's brilliant, but it doesn't work in my bedroom. It's too far away. So I have another access point in there, same SSID. So normally, like it just doesn't even know. It just actively hands off, and it's great. So now when I go in to take a poop, my phone drops internet, and it comes back with like it'll just say like Wi-Fi disconnected, and you'll look and it'll say incorrect password, but it isn't. It's the same password I've always used, which is the password 123, of course. And but like, and you can force it. You can go in and force it, and it'll then pick it up. Or if you just click Wi-Fi off and turn Wi-Fi back on, it connects back. But it's the same when I go from here to the garage. Same style of access point, same settings, same everything out there. And when I go from here to there, it'll not actively hand off. But it seems to only be my phone. I can go anywhere I want in the house with my tablet, and I don't have any problem. So, but I've had this phone now for a couple of years, and I've never done a factory reset on it. And according to them, anytime that there's a major software update, you're supposed to do a factory reset.
Really?
Nobody does that.
No.
Nobody wants to reset all their stuff every time that there's an update.
No.
So, but
I don't want to reset my stuff when I get a new phone.
yeah. Well, and it's getting easier and easier now, but like I have so much stuff on my phone, and it's all stuff that's configured, and like stuff that I need to access the network remotely and do remote work for work. And so
Rover with the PSA.
by the way, change the batteries in your smoke detectors. My smoke detectors have 10-year batteries, and they're also
my new ones are all, my new ones
powered.
have 10-year batteries in them, and the batteries are not replaceable, so you have to chuck the entire unit away.
Well, because they have a shelf life too.
Yeah, exactly. The
radioactive
isotopes. Yeah. Also, I'm going to take a second to say hi to all the people that greeted me in chat. I appreciate it. I don't want to make it seem like I'm not reading chat.
So how do you remember to change it? Was it in 9 years or 8 years? Is it 10 years? How do you supposed to remember when you change your?
Oh, it's simple. Like, they just catch on fire.
Yeah.
Every time your house burns down, it's time for fire detectors.
So they're fire creators, not fire detectors.
Only after 10 years.
Only after 10 years. I do have a Minecraft map that I think I'm going to show off a bit here while we're hanging out, since I have nothing else to show off. Have you heard of this thing called what's it called? Skyblock?
Yeah.
Have you ever played on one of them?
No.
It's pretty interesting. So for those in chat that don't know what Skyblock is, it starts you off on an island and there's no world. So if you fall off the island, you just fall to your death.
Yeah, you're
And
like literally in the sky.
yeah,
with,
and you
with
have
no
to try and
with no earth below you.
Really?
yeah, and you need to figure out how to make your own resources. All they give you to start off with is a bucket of water and a bucket or a block of frozen water and a bucket of lava and a bunch of dirt blocks, and I think there's one tree on the island, and that's it. And you have to figure out how to build to get resources together to make it to a second island, and then like gather stuff from there. So
It almost sounds like the clipping issue on the old Doom game when you used to, get stuck between walls and
Yeah.
stuff. You fall off, you're gonna fall forever.
Doom.
I used to like the Doom too. That was
Yeah, I was a big fan of Quake.
fun too.
We would have I had a Quake server in my office. So I don't know if I ever told this story, and maybe I shouldn't tell it publicly because they could still come back for me. But so the company that I worked for, we got a second office. So one was like the programmers, and then the rest of it was hardware repair. And when I moved in there, I said, well, we need a new file server. And they're like, okay, well, I built the file server to be a Quake server. So it was like built way, way bigger than any file server needed to be. But my friends and I, like my friends would show up on Friday afternoon after I was done with work, and we wouldn't leave there until, well, in fact, sometimes I was still there on Monday morning. And my coworkers would come in and they'd go, oh, Quake weekend, huh? Because there was like junk food wrappers everywhere and empty pizza boxes. And
Wow.
and we would just we would game 24 hours a day through the whole weekend. Like if you needed to sleep, you had to go find somewhere on the map to hide and then try to get sleep and hope that nobody came and killed you.
Oh wow.
Because then you'd respawn somewhere else and then everybody would just repeatedly kill you. So yeah, those were the days. So but
You needed sleep.
yeah. I mean, we'd have sometimes 10 people in there. So like every technician's workstation was built strong enough to run Quake. Oh yeah.
It was with Doom 2. I remember back then it was like pre-broadband. So as you wanted to play somebody, you had one person had to dial directly into the other person's system. So
that was like Duke Nukem 3D as well.
Yeah. So I had an AOL handle that was actually my phone number and converted to the letters to make a word. So I was like, okay, I'll call into you. What's your phone number? So dial my screen name.
Yeah, before broadband. For you, maybe.
You were
I've only had broadband at the house for about 21 years.
I had an ISDN line installed into my house before that was even a normal thing.
Really?
Yeah. Like the phone company, it took the phone company months to be able to install it because they didn't know how to do it into a residential. Something to do with the load capacitors or load something. I can't even remember now, but yeah, they had a heck of a time getting it. And of course, I thought I was just like king with a ISDN line. In fact, my ISDN router was a gift from Intel. They long-term leased me 2 of them and told me just take them. By the time that somebody gets around to wanting them back, they'll have already written them off. So I got two ISDN routers. So I took one and one of my business partners took the other one. And they were VPN. They were VPN connectable. So back then that was just unbelievable. But and then the first person to get it was Roadrunner where I lived. Which is now what Spectrum. Same company, new name.
Sputum.
I was on the list to get it. I was actually the 3rd person in our town to get it installed, but the very first person to get it, I was called in to help set it up to do the network side. Like they ran it to the house, but they had no network training, and they kept telling me that it couldn't be hooked to more than one computer. Like you could only hook to one computer. So the client that was getting it had Roadrunner on one computer and dial-up on the other computer. And we went to download the Roadrunner software, and it took 45 minutes on the dial-up computer, and it took like 45 seconds on the Roadrunner computer, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to get this. And then of course I figured out that you could buy a Linksys router, and everybody could have that. But that was in my early days too, like
Yeah.
I didn't know then what I know now. I still don't know anything.
Can you imagine dropping into it cold right now with no computer experience, having to learn all the stuff you've picked up over the years in one shot just to try and be competitive?
Sometimes I wish I didn't know what I know. God, makes me hate other people that, like, if I go to a company's website and it's like garbage. Okay, good example, and I won't directly call them out, but we pay for a service through our work. Every month we pay for this service, and it runs online. It's through a website, but it's a job and project management type application. It's horrific. The people who write it, I don't know. I want to just, I don't know. I want to hit them with a big stick every time I have to use it. And it really, it just makes me crazy that there's IT people that are doing this job that aren't any good at it.
Yeah.
And yet
I'm sponsored by Squarespace.
And theoretically then.
Sponsored by Squarespace.
Theoretically, there's a team of them that aren't any good.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's
it's definitely not one person writing it. So
an entire team.
And we use there's a software, a takeoff software that we use that's very expensive. It's like $1,400 a seat, and then like another $300 a year for the maintenance to be able to get upgrades and tech support and stuff. And they hate me. They absolutely hate me because I have no problem clicking that little button that says report a bug. And because everything is a bug to me. And then it takes them like a month to get back to me.
It's not a bug, it's a feature.
Oh my gosh. it's so they released a major update. And the major update was a new tab that just has advertisements for their software. That was the major update. I was so pissed.
Yeah.
So I wrote them a nasty, and every time you open the software, it defaults to that page. And it was ticking me off. And I submitted it as a bug, not as just a bug. And it took them a month to get back to me. And then they said that they would take it into consideration to not have it do that. So now it only defaults to that if there's a new update on that page. So if it's the same information, it goes to the page it's supposed to. But if there's new information, it takes you there. So they did listen to me for that one. And maybe other people, I don't know. And then the other fun one was one of the major updates they released. It was taking forever to do anything. Like, okay, so just quick, I take off a wall, I click this end of the wall, I drag my little line down, and I click this end of the wall. Well, it was like you'd click and it wouldn't do anything for like 10 seconds. And then you could drag it, and then you'd click and it was 10 seconds.
Almost like having an underpowered computer.
Oh, it was horrible. And so like, of course, I'm like, oh, I need to reboot my computer. And nope, every computer that we use with that software was having the same issue. And so I opened a trouble ticket, submitted a bug, and no response, found my own way around it. So when they finally responded, with, we would like to speak to you about this problem. Please send us a phone number and a time where you can be reached. And I wrote them back and I said, nope, I already fixed it on my own. Thanks. And so then they wrote me back, well, we'd like to know what you did. And I'm like, well, figure it out on your own then.
I figured it out. It's your software. You figure it out.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, the back end of that software, for those who know anything about programming, is Pascal.
Really?
That's how bad this software is. Now, they have been working on a 64-bit version of this software for 9 years. For 9 years, they keep saying the 64-bit is coming.
By the time we get to be on 128-bit systems.
Right, yeah. So it runs 32-bit, and that's the biggest problem, is that we only use 2 gigs of RAM. There's a patch out there that allows you, Pascal, I hardly knew her. There is a patch out there that you can run that will cause 32-bit software to use up to 4 gigs of RAM. So, hello, Chris.
That's the thing with early versions of like Windows. Well, not earlier. Windows XP was primarily 32-bit. There was a 64-bit version, but it lacked a lot of compatibility for stuff because a lot of people weren't writing for anything 64 back then. And XP, I think, could use 3.5 gigs of RAM, but it could use potentially up to 4. But that also included the RAM on your video card. So if you stuck a 2 gig video card into a 32-bit Windows XP machine, it could only use an additional 2 gigs of RAM because of memory addressing.
Yeah.
So this is the biggest snag in this map, is that in order to get unlimited resources, stuff like trees you can keep replanting, and you can set it up so that the lava hits the water in just the right spot so that it makes infinite stone.
Oh yeah, stone generator.
Yeah.
Hello, Joe. Long time no hear from. Hope you are well. What is it? Only one person company? No, it's a huge conglomerate company. In fact, they just got bought out by a bigger conglomerate company.
That'll
but
still
apparently
fail to
they
do
still have
anything.
the same sucky IT people.
Yeah. Chris
Lane from Venturi 3D.
They're down here in Florida, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, you're down towards
Sarasota.
Naples, aren't you, Chris? Maybe I shouldn't tell people that publicly. If you don't want people to know, just don't answer the question.
Yeah, way to go, Glenn.
I
You're
was only
doxing
asking you, so I
people
want to know
now.
if he's going to be at Maker Faire next week. That's why I was asking.
Oh, and then you just say, "Hey, Chris Lane, you going to be at Maker Faire near Tampa?" So yeah, Sholm is down in Sarasota.
Right.
Yeah, and then Wham Bam Systems is down towards Miami. Of course, Slice Engineering is right up in Gainesville.
Oh, they're that close?
Oh yeah. Xander and I have been up there a couple of times to their facilities.
Oh yeah, cool.
So I've been doxed.
I was literally thinking, way to dox him.
Sorry.
I don't know if I said it out loud. Ironically enough, the reason I was late for today, because I saw the joke from Mitch about, Glenn's going to talk about his truck and James is going to show off his latest retro computer. I did a round trip to pick up several older computers today.
Well, you can talk about them, you just can't show them.
I just can't show them, and then so I was given a couple from a buddy of mine that lives about an hour away. He doesn't know what's in them, and I don't. Well, I know what's in one of them because it's an HP one, and the person never peeled off the stickers, so it's still got the retail sticker where it's like it's an AMD Sempron 3200 with 512 megs of RAM and 160 gig hard drive. But the other one is a beige mystery box. It's got a. Do you remember those super generic optical drives where it just says like 48x max on the front of it?
Yeah.
It's got one of those, and like
probably
these are the ones
gold
where
star.
I don't even. Yeah, it could be a lucky gold star optical drive.
The fact it's a 48 though, I mean not a 2. I remember
That's
the 2X.
So,
I have.
So what I found though.
Yeah.
But what I found is with the 1x, 2x, 4x. I'd say probably all the way to 16x, they actually ran at those speeds. As soon as they started, I think it was the 24 ones, they started putting 24 max, and it was like very specific discs it could potentially read. Like you never got that speed out of them.
It was like variable speed. It would spin at different speeds depending on what you were doing.
Yeah, and where it was on the disc.
Yeah.
So I've got no idea what's in it. It's got a 48 max CD drive, so it's probably Pentium 2 era. And I know it's got a dedicated graphics card because of where the VGA port is on it. Unless it's one of those boards. There was a company called PC Chips back in the day that used to make motherboards, and it had onboard video, onboard sound, onboard everything, but it was all connected via ribbon cables. And then you mounted the headers from the ribbon cables onto the back. So it looked like you had a bunch of cards in it, and then you'd open it up and it's like, no, it's all really crappy stuff that's on board and it's just connected with cables.
Yep.
So... And like a lot of people were caught off guard by that because like the idea of a dedicated graphics card was something new back then. So it's like, oh yeah, there's the graphics card, sound card, and you bring it home, and it's like, yeah, it actually has none of that.
Yeah, one somewhere around here, I have my first ever Trident 1 meg video card.
I've got one downstairs. It's a PCI one. Wait,
mine was ISA.
I've got a 512 ISA one downstairs that does 8-bit and 16-bit buses, so you can plug it into. Because, there's the original 8-bit ISA bus, which is only like one section of like 32 pins. And then they tacked on an additional 16 pins or whatever.
Yep.
It'll do both, but I think it's only a 512 or maybe even only a 256.
Right. I had
But
a micro channel from IBM years ago, and I wish I still had it because I'd ship it off to James.
Yeah. Oh, I was so excited to have a 1 meg video card, and it's
Yep.
like, poof. Chris Lane said
Yeah.
we need to get our farts going. Absolutely. In fact, if anybody's going to be at Maker Faire this year, Saturday night after the show, so about 7:30, we meet at the local Golden Corral, pending if it's still in business. And we have our farts, which is the Florida area rep rap talking supper. But we have actually talked about getting a rep rap type, like a Murph Earth going in Florida. I just don't think now's the time because of, because of the coronas. But
you can do it you can do it the way Murph started, right in your garage.
yeah. No, I don't want these people coming to my house.
Bad enough I
God,
show
could
up.
you imagine people being in my garage? I'd have lawsuits from people getting hurt with all that crap out there. Mitch 3D says, it's not like I'm getting my bet back. I was hoping you found one of those transparent PC cases you posted about.
I have not yet. So here's another thing. So I'm looking for this case from my past. The original one was red, but I'm willing to take one in any of the colors because it's already the like a, what do they call it, a holy grail item? Like it's not likely I'm ever going to find it. So I
They were
posted on
translucent though, right? Not actually transparent.
they're translucent plastic, and then there's like a metal shell within the translucent.
Right.
And somebody pointed out that it actually kind of looks like it was cast out of one of the old Dell cases. It's got the same type of curves and stuff to it. So I posted on Reddit, and I'm like, I've been looking for one of these for several years, had no luck. And somebody responded that they had one that they would like to sell, and somebody else immediately responded to them saying, I would like to buy it. So on my thread asking for this thing, somebody else is like, oh, I've been looking for one. And then immediately posted the first person that put, I would like to buy it. And the guy hasn't been responding to me. So
I would make the statement of how I feel about that, but this is a family-friendly channel.
I think it's, and like the guy that sniped it had posted, oh, I've been looking for one of those for years. And I said, if I find a source for one, I will let you know. If I could find somebody. So I was already being nice to the person, and he jumped on as soon as somebody's like, I've got one to sell. And the guy's like, oh, I'll have to take pictures for you then. And I responded, I'm like, hey, yeah, if you're ready to sell, let me know. And the guy hasn't responded to me.
Wow.
So I think that other guy,
So,
I was so annoyed. I took the initiative, and somebody else was like,
when those systems, and I probably shouldn't tell this story publicly either, but when those systems, when that was a thing, when you could buy them brand spanking new, the cases and the mice and the keyboards and all of that, we had them advertised on our website for the computer store that I owned. And I was contacted on a Thursday by a lady who is a personal assistant for an attorney in Beverly Hills, California. Now, my store was here in Florida, not in California, but he wanted to buy one for his child. I don't remember if it was a daughter or a son, for their birthday. And the party was on Saturday. This is Thursday. And they wanted to know if we could build the system and overnight it to them to have it there by Saturday. And so I said to the lady, I said, it's possible, but it's not going to be cheap. And she said to me, I don't care. Let me know how much it is, and I'll get you the credit card number, blah, blah, blah. So I made some calls to my distributor to make sure that they had everything. We had to drive like an hour and a half each way to get to the warehouse to pick up the parts, come back, put it together on Thursday night, burn it in all the way until Friday morning, and then ship it overnight Saturday delivery from Florida to California. And of course, we put a nice markup on that.
I guess you did.
I mean, a nice markup. So somewhere out there is one of those cases that I built. And well, I mean, there's a bunch of them that I built, but one specifically that went to California that I charged, I think we made like $1,200 in profit. It was ridiculous. The shipping on the whole thing was, and like typically had this taken place in a normal situation, we could have had a monitored drop ship because that's where they all came from anyway. So we could have had all the accessories drop ship, but because we had to ship all of that stuff from here, the shipping on it was like $500.
Oof.
Like it was ridiculous. So, and this was, well over 20 years ago now. So
what it would cost to ship now?
yeah, I would have been back in probably 2000 actually, right around 2000.
21 years.
Yeah, I think
So-
those came out in '99, so that would be about the right time.
Yeah,
And they were popular for quite a while, and then kind of just died off real quick.
yeah. Well, it got popular because of the
The
Mac.
iMac, yeah,
Yeah.
the multicolor iMac. Everybody wanted one.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted something that looked like it. They didn't necessarily want a Mac. They just
So and honestly, those cases were garbage. Like they had sharp edges in them. You know, like that was some of our criteria when we would pick cases for our custom built computers. Like they had to be finished. Like the insides all had to be rolled lips, not just stamped cut steel. And I didn't want to be bloody by the time I was done building it.
When I first started working in computers, I used to make sure I carried a box of Band-Aids in my toolbox.
Yeah. So, well, and I mean, how many times do you ever put your hand in a computer to do something while it's running? You know, you're just moving cables or whatever, and you get your tip of your finger in the fan or whatever, and you're like, like this, and you just shred all your skin off on the way out.
And the fan was the least of the problem.
But it startles you, and then you rip your arm off.
There was a suggestion there from Mark for James regarding his post for when he's looking for something. Always tell him to DM you rather than just leaving it open.
yeah. I'll do that next
James,
time.
always be sure to put in your post, DM me if you have one for sale.
I'll keep monitoring eBay, and I've had a couple people reach out and say that they see them somewhat frequently in the recycling centers around them. So if they see one, they'll grab it for me, which I appreciate. So what's probably going to happen is I'm going to end up with 4 people that have grabbed them for me. I'm going to have having to pay to ship 4 of them to me.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, if they're really that rare and there's that many people looking for them, that's also the potential of making a few bucks.
True.
Gotta figure out how to make your own.
Chris Lana asked who else is going to Maker Faire. I'm still not decided, as I have a lot of stuff going on. I don't actually know for sure who's going to be there.
I'm going.
Uncle Ron's going to be there. I'm going to be there.
Ron's going. Happy Ron is not.
Okay. The Andrews from 3D Gloop will be there. At least the last I heard, they will be. I hope they're going to be there because I plan to hang out at their booth.
I believe they call that mooching.
No, it's called public relations. By me being there, the crowds will come to see me and buy 3D glue.
Hey, do you remember when Xander thought that everybody was going to recognize him at the first event you guys went to because of the your Xander's Thing Thursday videos?
Well, yeah. That was New York Maker Faire. He said something about people wanting his autograph, and I had told Pooch that story, and he said, "Oh, I'm going to ask him for an autograph." And so, the first night of that was the pre-party at one of the maker spaces, and he was actually recognized at that point. But walking into Orlando or into New York Maker Faire, we were like 25, 30 feet in, and all of a sudden somebody from behind yells, "Fun King!" And it was a guy that watches the videos. And I'm like, "No." And he's like, "Yeah, I do." And I'm like, "No." No, it's pretty awesome. Sergio throwing down $9.99 US cents. Thank you, sir. It is always appreciated.
Where do you find a picture of me dressed in blue?
Yeah, look, it's a little sticker of Uncle Ron. Is that a pear or an upside down light bulb? I guess it's a pear. It's got leaves on its head.
The blue pear.
And then would it really be an upside down light bulb? I guess a light bulb could be in any orientation, couldn't it? So, but thank you, sir. It is greatly appreciated. So, I'm going to make a statement that's kind of about my project truck, but not really, so it doesn't count, Mitch. But I'm considering putting in a 67-gallon fuel cell. And after doing my math, I determined that I would be able to drive from here to Murph and only have to stop for fuel once, which I think would be amazing.
That's pretty fancy, I'm not going to lie.
So, and I am hoping that Murph goes.
But you stop at White Castle twice on the way up.
Yeah, but I don't have to stop for fuel. Stopping for gas, not stopping for diesel. I do like me some White Castle. But yeah, I do hope that Murph goes this year.
How close is the White Castle to Maker Faire?
It's not really.
Okay.
No.
It's only close if you try to make it.
Yeah, White Castle is kind of like over towards. It's the south end of iDrive area, like kind of more towards Disney,
Okay.
and then Maker Fair's in the middle of Orlando. So I don't know, like probably 25 minutes if you had to drive from one to the other. But
Yeah, so it's almost an hour round trip. Yeah.
Big Mike said, I stepped away and don't know if you answered my question at the beginning of stream. Can you show pics of your tree and pics of your new motor in the Ford? So I did actually show both those pictures while you were away. You missed out, so sorry. No, I don't know if I have pictures of the tree, but I'm pretty sure that I have a video. That's wrong.
Video killed the radio star.
I think I had posted a link to the video last year of one of the shows.
You did have that up on your. It's
on my personal YouTube.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, so that I couldn't get demonetized for it because I'm not monetized.
You can still get a copyright strike, but that's only if they're being real dinks.
Well, I don't really care. Whatever. Yeah, Mike, let me I'm gonna step over to the other computer because I'll be able to find it a lot easier over there, and I'll post that. As far as
can't remote the other one from here?
No. I don't want anything remoting into that computer ever.
Oh, that's the work computer.
Yeah, that's where everything takes place. Spell that right.
If anybody else does this map at some point, one of the things I'll tell you is that if you touch the sand with the latest add-ons, this entire second island just collapses. Because they don't allow sand to be free hanging. So the first thing I do is build across and build a support structure underneath it, so that doesn't happen. Because that would be most unfortunate.
You can build something from the top down.
Not really. So this island's pre-generated in here. You can't I built from the top down by using water over here. So I use the water to get to swim and then get underneath. But yeah, that's about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna start building a new house. I'm gonna start with the top brick of the chimney and work my way down.
Well, you can't just place blocks in the air. You have to be able to put them against something.
Yeah, it's like Lego.
I mean, the blocks will float. Like if you built a tower 10 blocks high and then knocked out 9 blocks, that 10th block would stay there.
I haven't messed with this shit.
Yeah, the physics are a little
wonky.
Yeah.
Willy Wonky.
Willy Wonky.
I watched that
Willy
a couple months
Wonky.
ago.
The amazing pie.
I'm looking for a picture for you, Mike. I didn't forget about you. I'm just trying to find a decent picture.
Don't you forget about Mike.
Nope, that wasn't bad.
Yeah, I have a nice side shot somewhere though.
Oh, it's dark out for that one, huh?
No, it's too close. Well, sometimes I work at nighttime. Sometimes I spend lots and lots of hours working on it. I don't want that one. It's got the crane in the way.
Go back 1 second.
Oh, I can't.
Oh.
None of my trees have grown yet. That's inconvenient.
That's the power steering. I know I have better pictures of it.
So the big thing for this thing is to get additional resources. You have to be able to kill mobs, and so you need to create a spot where they can actually spawn at night. So I create this.
I see one of your rims over in the corner.
That's my trailer.
That's your trailer?
Trailer tires.
Okay.
That's when I built the downpipe.
Ah.
So all right, let's do this. I'm gonna do a screen share. All right, so that's a shot. That's a shot that I took after building the downpipe. This was a piece right here of Ford Ford exhaust, and then this was all the Cummins exhaust, and I just sectioned it together, and horrible welding all that together because that pipe was so nasty dirty, and I couldn't get it clean enough to get it good.
Is that one of the pieces you had to sandblast? That's not a problem.
Oh, I sandblasted all of it so I could put paint on it. There's from the front. That's the Cummins engine in the Ford frame. And that's the body. That's the cab of the truck is up here on the lift.
It levitates.
Oh, you built a hovercraft.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the Fords of the hovercraft.
Take that, McFly.
That's not very nice. That's before I put the exhaust manifold and turbo back on. So yeah, it's a fun project. I've been having a good time working on that.
Weren't you supposed to have a video in the past week?
Yeah, we've had some technical difficulties.
Technically, you were the difficulty?
Well, it's technically related to how many windows did that open? It's technically related to scheduling. I just haven't had time. For some reason, Sean can't access my server, even though it's a public drive. So
Maybe you just spelled his name wrong.
no, there shouldn't even be a login for it.
Oh, yeah?
Just be able to access it.
Public sharing is always the way to go.
Yeah, high security that way.
Well, it's not public to the outside world. It's only public internally.
Yeah. Oh, you couldn't get a multi-mode fiber cable in any color but orange? He's looking over at his server rack with your network cables all being red and yellow, except for the one orange fiber link.
Yeah, no, it was the only color I could afford it in.
I think it's the only colors they make them available in. They're all color coded for what they are, single versus multi.
I don't know where that video is. Maybe I took it down. Maybe YouTube took it down.
YouTube's been gunning for years, and you just realized it now.
YouTube is anti-Christmas, I guess.
I don't know. I'll keep digging here for a minute, Mike. I'm sure that I've got pictures of it being lit up last year.
I don't know why. I think I might have something on my phone from when I was here a couple of years ago. Saw it.
Yeah, I just got to scroll back to, because I mean we put it up every year.
I mean, that was my pathetic Christmas tree a couple of years ago when I turned my kegerator into a Christmas tree. Because why wouldn't you turn a kegerator into a Christmas tree?
Take that, liver.
Yeah, I'll have to re-upload the video because.
Oh, great. All I got was creepers.
Oh, the best kind.
Creepers, creepers.
Where'd you get those peepers?
Well, I have like this
Is
picture.
that copyrighted?
I have this
Demonetized.
picture of a hawk sitting on my Christmas lights.
Yeah, it's a good looking bird.
America.
So this is about, I don't know, about 15, maybe 20 feet out of Zach's bedroom window. And this hawk kept coming back and sitting on my arches. And then it would see something move in the grass and it would fly off to go eat it. I think if I can find a video, I think I can play the video. But I don't think I made the video on my phone. I think I did it.
Wow.
Oh, that's my new tune-in sign and my arches.
Gainesville Meat Maker Fair.
Oh yeah, that they never did again.
Yeah.
2 years and then it defunct. All right, so there's my Christmas light show during the daytime.
Doesn't have the same look.
No, but you can actually see, you can see the big mega tree back here.
The mega tree.
The mean, it's pretty much that's how it's set up every year because everything is mapped to the controllers and stuff. So it pretty much has to go in the same spot. Oh, here's the other tree.
Oh.
The big tree's not even in that picture. Let me go back another Christmas season. We'll go back to 19. There's the big tree lit up. It is 52 strands of LED that are 48 feet 9 inches long. They run up and back. So there's 104 points on a ring on the bottom. And I want to say the ring is 18 feet across. And then the star at the top. So now I've given you guys enough information. You should be able to figure out where I live. Of course, if anybody really ever wanted to know that, it's not really hard to find me.
And I can just post your address in chat if we're trying to cut out the middleman.
But like I've always said, you don't want to show up here uninvited. I'm antisocial. I'll leave you standing outside.
Alan, with the temperatures down here, a snow machine would just be hosing people down for the most part with water.
Yeah. So it's been cold here the last couple of days. Got all the way down to the 50s.
Yeah. No. We had a freeze warning in effect at my house 2 days before I left. Actually, the day I left.
You could do some Christmas lights using ESP32. I've definitely seen projects online because you can use stuff like relays that use like low power switching and stuff like that to turn things on and off. And since the ESP32's got a somewhat decent processor, you can use it for scheduling and scripting. But
yep.
I'm pretty sure you're using. It's snowing some places in Canada. We did get a little bit of snow, but nothing that stayed a couple of days ago.
It should be allowed to snow anywhere before Thanksgiving.
It's snowing in the Great White North, but it's always
well. That's why we're past Thanksgiving in Canada. We're ahead of schedule. I'm assuming that Glenn is using off-the-shelf components for his stuff, though.
No, I built everything that I use.
Did you
no,
actually?
That's not true. So the company that
I don't know.
The company that I use is it's lightorama.com. No sponsor, though they should. No, it's it's like anything else. You're going to find people that are like, oh, there's much better ways to do it than that. Their stuff is so overly expensive. But you know what? Their stuff works. Anytime I've needed support, I've always got support from them. But I do buy the kits. In fact, I have one more to put together. You get the board, you get all the components, and you solder it together yourself. I've done all but one. Has been a kit.
Really?
Yeah, and it's enjoyable to me.
But also at this point in time, you've done enough of them that to switch to something else would be a whole new learning curve. Well, stick with what you know at this point.
Well, and now I'm getting more into the pixels. We added the pixels a couple years ago with the arches, and the pixels are RGB pixels that can be any color, anytime, individually addressable. You can turn on one, you can turn on all, whatever. So we had a good idea this year to the lights that we usually put on the front of the dormers have burned out again and could not find replacements for them at all this year. I mean, Christmas stuff, although it's out early, there's not a lot of it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff still missing, probably sitting in cargo ships off the coast of California. But we're actually going to do an RGB pixel matrix across the front of the 3 dormers. So if I want to, I can just make it look like the dormer's lit up like it always has been, or I can scroll messages across it or whatever I want.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's going to be my big goal for next year's add-on. We didn't really add much this year. We did pick up a couple things at Lowe's the other day. Like one thing to replace something that's been in the show for a long time and it's getting a little faded and a little tired.
Is it you?
Yeah, I wish I was getting replaced. Dude, it's a lot of work. It is a lot a lot of work. But, when people show up with, tins of cookies, it's worth it. So, Mitch said, I need a laser light show. What I do want is some DMX. So the system actually runs a version of a DMX network for anybody that knows what that is. It's typically used by DJs and stuff. It's all addressable. It uses kind of a dumbed down version of that, but you can just by ticking a box, tell it, I want to run in a DMX universe, and all of the stuff still works. And I want some of those fully controllable spotlights. You know what I'm talking about? I wouldn't be the first person. There's been other people who have done it, but and then I was thinking about incorporating a fog machine somehow. Yeah. I think a fog machine would be cool, but I don't know if it would give me enough coverage to really do anything. Being it's out and it's always windy here.
You can end up with aircraft landing in your yard.
So maybe. But no, it's definitely worth it. I love when like, okay, so people will stop. My neighbor across the street has a nice boulevard. His house is actually off to that side. Directly across the street from me is a field where his sheep hang out. And people can stop in the boulevard across the street to watch the show. I broadcast on an FM radio station, so they can hear the music in their car.
In Ocala.
No, just down to the S curve. Maybe just a little past it. Whatever. I don't know. But sometimes when the people are out there watching the show, like if you peek out the curtains to see if anybody's watching, they drive away really fast. Like, oh, we've been caught. So it got to the point. In fact, that's why I bought a Ring doorbell. Was because Priscilla always wanted to know if there was people out there watching, and when you'd look, they'd leave. So we started spying on them with a Ring doorbell. So, so if you're a show watcher and you drive off, we're still watching you. But sometimes like we go out there and stand. I have this lovely, in fact, I will wear it in a December stream, but I have a suit coat that has Christmas cats on it. And it actually has LED Christmas lights in the suit, in the jacket. So, but I wear that outside, and then like people will pull up and we greet them and talk to them and stuff. And because there's always a million questions. And like the number one, how long does this take to do this? How much does it cost? That's my two number one questions.
So how much does it
cost? What does it burn in electricity?
Yeah, well, I do get that question. Yeah. Oh, I bet your electric bill is terrible in December, which it is not because we don't run the air conditioning. And I take all the light bulbs out of the kids' rooms. So it offsets it.
If Xander wants to do VR during November and December, you've got an exercise bike with one of those generators on it.
Yeah, you got a hand crank.
Yeah, exactly. No, I just hit him with a stick. Turn off the lights. So I haven't told Sean yet. I don't know if he's still watching. I know he was in here earlier, but yeah, come December, Sean, you can't run any power at all. No, we're at about probably 95% LED now. So it's pretty efficient. My electric bill does go up a little bit, but whatever. So you get the people that'll give you money, like, oh, let me give you a little something towards the electric bill. Well, we don't take money. We'll take their money, but we don't take money. All of our donations go to St. Jude's Children's Hospital. And so I made a sign last year, and I don't know if I have an image of it, but it says on there, like, all donations given to St. Jude's Children's Hospital. And then underneath that, it says, except baked goods. We eat those. So, in fact, this year I want to build a donation box because I get that a lot too. People will come up like, where do we put the donation? Well, in my hand. And in fairness, most of the time I do the donation through Chili's. So I get to go eat at Chili's, and then, you can always donate to St. Jude's through Chili's.
I didn't know that.
So then I'll go in there and I'll put like a $300 St. Jude's donation on my bill.
Wow.
But like whatever came in for the year. But so no, it's a hobby of passion. I absolutely love doing it. It started when I was a little younger than Xander. My dad and I started putting up Christmas lights. And the neighbor across the street seen us putting up Christmas lights. So he started putting up Christmas lights. And then it was always a battle to outdo the neighbor. And one year one year, I shouldn't say this either. I'm gonna get canceled for this. One year we went out into the woods and cut down a pine tree and brought it back and used a post hole digger to dig a hole and put the pine tree in our yard because we didn't have any big trees. Our house wasn't that old. All of our trees were small. And we put this big pine tree in the middle of our front yard just so we could decorate it to outdo the neighbor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, in fairness, I did recycle that tree into firewood.
They cut them down and put them in Times Square. So
Yeah. Well, this was just like a regular, like scrubby pine tree. It wasn't even like a Christmas tree. It was just a pine tree. But that's how it started. Now, I do actually have to each side of my front door, I have blow mold soldiers that they were part of our original. It's the only thing I have left from long ago. And we actually had 4 of those and 2 blow mold snowmen. And somebody stole 2 of our soldiers and a snowman one year.
oh,
And the other snowman ended up dry rotting, being in my sister's attic. But I did recover the two soldiers.
really?
So those are part of my original show from when I was
You
Sanders age.
You found who scarfed them up, huh?
So, well, they were in my no, the original.
Oh,
We
okay.
had 4 and 2 were stolen. There were still 2 left. I recovered them from my sister's attic. So, but no, if I'd have found who'd stolen, what kind of low life steals Christmas decorations?
No.
My
mother collects pigs, and somebody stole a burrowing pig, like one to digging for truffles, right out of mom and dad's garden in a retirement community.
It's just,
You know,
it's just sad. It's just sad. But, and I mean, I fear somebody's going to mess with my stuff and take my stuff. Like, there's a lot of money's worth of stuff out there, you know, and it's not even really that. I don't want anybody to mess up my show.
Yeah.
You know, like we do that for the joy of others. And I love when the kids come and the kids are so excited, you know, like just people will pull up and, you know, the kids will be out there dancing and stuff. It's just wonderful.
I was like, well, if I was going to be down here before Christmas, which I don't think I will be after being down here now, I probably would have brought along my Halloween costume and just sat out there like a mannequin just to spook people when I felt
Well,
like moved.
I said to Priscilla, like, you know, there's the videos, I'm sure they're on YouTube and stuff, but it's the guy and he's in like an angry snowman costume and he like stands on the boardwalk. And then when people walk by, he like lunges at him and stuff and scares the crap out of him. I said, I want to do a snowman costume where I stand out there. And then when people stop, like I go walking over there, you know, I don't want it to be an angry snowman though. But
like
no,
last week, go ahead.
What's that?
I was gonna say last week for the Minecraft decorations, I put them out a couple days beforehand to do the video, but then I brought them back in because I'm like, I don't trust somebody not to come over and take off with some of it, and you know, I don't have time to reprint it if that happens, and so
Yeah, it's really sad to have to feel that way, you
Yeah.
know, like, but I don't know, like I don't know. I really enjoy doing it. I really love to see the people's reaction. I love when they honk and wave, and like the show runs for about 28 minutes, and like people will sit out there for the whole time, and then they honk their horn like crazy when it's over, and you know, just kind of a tip of the hat, you know, like it's very cool. It's very cool to do it, and I love making the show bigger and bigger every year. But wow, does it take time? It takes me about 40 hours to do one song. It's about 10 hours a minute of audio.
And you try to switch something up every year?
No. In the beginning, that was the goal. We try to switch stuff up by adding props, but not in the sequencing, because I found that people will show up and they'll be like, "Oh, you changed songs this year," and I'll be like, "Yep, it's the same songs I've been running for all the years I've been doing this." People only hear it like once or twice every year, as where I hear it like 5,000 times every year.
Oh, Zach must be it's right outside his
right
window.
outside his window.
He's gonna be ready to lose his mind by the end of New Year's.
I was gonna do a rendition of "Let It Snow" or "Let It Go" from what's the Disney
Frozen?
Yeah, because he hates that song so much.
Oh,
And I was going to do a rendition of that because the speaker is right outside his window. But
you're saying you came up with an idea, but then you had to let it go?
I did. I had to let it go. So, but
now, do you guys in the paper or anything down here? Do they advertise where like the large Christmas light displays are? Because up home we get a list in the paper or on the newspaper website.
What's a newspaper?
Yeah. It's those things that post all the fake news in a printed form.
Oh, does you have to read?
Yeah.
That's like a
There's
baby's one.
there's a Facebook group for this county that
Speaking of fake news,
like puts the light shows out.
Because I go out driving around trying to find places like what you have here to go.
Yeah, there's an app that you can get for your phone too. I'm on that app. I can't remember the name of it, but
Christmas lights,
it might be something stupid like that. But which is why I said, I mean, anybody that really ever wants to know where I live, it's not really hard to find where I live.
No, just
Not
fly
rocket
over
surgery.
anywhere in Florida. Wait to look for the glow.
I'm not very creative with naming things, so I could just name it, Fun King 3D Light Show. No, not really.
everything you got to go for brand recognition with everything, man.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait till I start
I have to
scrolling
say-
my website across the matrix on the front of the house. Like, while you're waiting, visit www.funkinggarage.com.
Well, the first time I saw the setup out front, I was really surprised that your snowman didn't have Fun King heads.
Yeah, no.
But then again, yellow.
Thanks, Mike, for being here. I appreciate it.
But then again, yellow snow might not be the greatest thing to put on display.
Yeah, I have a thing. I have a thing for snowmen. I don't. Not like a romantic thing or a weird thing, but because
You're a furry.
snowmen, you can make really cute snowmen, and then there's some snowmen you're like, oh, that's an awful looking snowman. But so I still have the original snowman that started all of that. I call him Doo-Doo Brown because he was made of white tinsel, and the Florida sun absolutely turned him brown. Yeah, he's like a golden brown color, like he's tan. It's pretty funny.
Well, that was in the Frosty song, right?
I went to Florida.
He is Doo-Doo Brown.
Doo-Doo Brown. I will not part with him. He is in a box in the garage, in the big garage. Just because he means that much to me, because that's what started Snowman Island.
Oh.
And then so he turned Doo-Doo Brown. We decided it was time to replace him, and I think the guy in the center that's up on the pedestal, I think he came from Sam's, and in fact I'm pretty sure he did. And we decided we wanted to go back and get another one, and they were sold out. Then either the next year or the year after, they had the other two, and so we bought two of those. And then last year we added the 3-stack, a little snowman. So like it just
looks like a family standing out there.
But well, yeah, we have a total of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 13 snowmen on Snowman Island. So, but if we add any more, I have to put another controller. I have to add an additional controller because there's the 13 snowmen, there's the left and right candy canes, and then there's the ground lights. That's all 16 channels. So I've used up a whole entire controller for Snowman Island. So, yeah.
So you got one more snowman than you need for the 12 days of Christmas.
I was actually going to work on that by props. I was going to do a 12 days of Christmas and use the different, because like we have doves. We have 2 turtle doves. Okay. That which they're actually fun. They're LED, but they're the kind where when you plug them in, there's kind of a delay before they kick on. So when the controller hits them, they don't turn on when they're supposed to. And the way they were grouped with everything, so the whole island would light up, and then they would flash. Like it was like flash. So, but yeah, we were going to.
You can easily program. I'm assuming you
What's
can. I'm assuming you can easily just add a delay to give everything a chance to power up before you started the sequence.
Yeah, absolutely, you can. Like, okay, so the way that it was though is we call that the North Pole. It's the land of misfit toys. It's kind of like the decorations that we don't know where else to put. Like we have two narwhals. They were just cute. Had to have them. Well, in fact, we bought one, and then the other one was on clearance, and we bought the second one. So, so like that's all like the weird stuff. But like I have a pole that says like North Pole, and then I have polar bears, and I have Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, some penguins, which I know penguins aren't on the North Pole.
They're South Pole.
Penguins and polar bears don't hang out together. In my land, they do.
But
go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't remember what special it was, but it was one of those like specials that's supposed to be funny to kids and adults. And somebody was showing their decoration thing off, and it was like, and we've even got the North Pole dancers. And like when I was a kid, I'm like, oh, dancers from the North Pole. But the way he emphasized pole, it's the North Pole dancers. And I'm like, oh, I didn't get that the first time through.
They call that adult innuendo.
I appreciate that. It's like Shrek, right? Shrek had the Lord Farquaad
Sean's
and
I said Sean's back.
oh, he's
yeah,
up to all
Sean
sorts
missed
of
the announcement
shenanigans.
where I said he doesn't get to use any power
during
in December. But yeah, so the North Pole, all the stuff that's on the North Pole used to be just on one channel of the Snowman Island controller. So like anytime that it turned on, it was everything turned on. But now I've upgraded it where it has its own controller. So I can actually control individually. And for anybody that wants to know what the programming is like, if you've ever used Excel, if you picture a little box for every channel that you have, so 16 for each controller, 300 for each RGB controller, because there's 100 bulbs in each one. It's red, green, and blue, 3 channels. So you have all these channels. You have all the channels like this, and then you have a column for every beat of the song.
Oh, jeepers!
So whatever the timing of the song is, and you literally go in there and you either turn it on or off, or you can ramp it up or twinkle it or whatever. There's like different effects that you can do, but you are literally clicking the box. It's not automatic. The software doesn't listen to the music and go, "This seems good." Nope. You are in there ticking everyone, and that's why it takes 40 hours to do a 4-minute song.
How many times do you have to listen to this song to do it all?
A million.
Well, you got to figure if songs,
and you have to play it at like half speed and quarter speed to get it timed exactly right, or it doesn't look right.
You got to figure if a song's 4 minutes long and you got 40 hours you said to do it.
Hey Glenn, can you see my screen right now?
Yeah. Oh.
What do you do?
He died. Oh. He knocked him off into the abyss.
I can't believe he fell for that.
He did. He fell hard.
I just realized that if I go after these guys, I'm probably going to die. Oh, I think I got their attention.
Yeah,
what's really funny is
you could just knock a block out in between.
I did. That's why there's gaps here.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, no, they can't jump.
Watch this though. They're going to push each other off. Hey, your friends went this way.
Yeah, so the joke that Sean can't run any power. When I had the electricity, when I had the power installed from the power company, I got 400 amp service, which is massive for those who don't know. But I have 200 amps for my house and 200 amps for Christmas lights, which is also, it's also the same amperage that feeds the detached garage. So the garage shares with the outside Christmas electrical lights. Outlets for the garage. Yeah, there's more than enough power. But to offset cost, no using any electricity in December. So
you see, he fires up his grinder, all your lights dim at night.
That grinder's actually not too bad. Like it doesn't. When my compressor kicks in, the lights in the garage dim. I need to figure out why that is. So
because it's full of water.
I need to go back and make sure all the lugs are tight and make sure that I don't have bad connection somewhere.
Yeah, I just recently found out that's a thing because we have one outlet where if the coffee machine's connected to it, when the heater kicks on, the lights start to dim and flicker.
Yeah, so it can be a loose connection or bad ground.
I think we're gonna end up going through all the electrical in the house with a fine-tooth comb just to be safe.
Yeah.
Sorry, I gotta disconnect. There's something up with the power on my laptop. It'll randomly like start flashing the light like it's not charging, but then I unplug and plug it back in and it goes back to charging. But flashing doesn't mean that it's not plugged in. I don't know what it means because if you just unplug it, the light's just off. So it's been acting weird. I don't think I've ever had a gaming laptop that hasn't given me issues.
Does it have like one of those safe charging things that once it gets close to being fully charged, it pulses to keep from overcharging?
No, I think what's happening with this one is that I think there's a wire that's potentially broken or not making great contact inside the what do you call the like the barrel
Brick.
connector? Yeah, so I think it's towards the actual barrel connector at the end, and when it's making intermittent contact, the laptop says that it thinks that the charger that's plugged in isn't providing adequate amperage, and shuts down to prevent damaging the brick or the laptop. So
Yeah.
laptop's still under warranty, but I have to pay to ship the brick back. They have to check it out and then send me another one. So I'm probably just gonna buying a new one and then probably shipping the other one back as well and having a backup.
There you go.
Mostly, yeah, well, mostly because I don't want to pay for their issue. So on principle, I want them to replace it.
Sean says he keeps losing internet. Well, first he said he keeps looking internet, but then he says losing. Sean, you're connected Wi-Fi, right? I can restart that. I can restart that.
But weren't you having Wi-Fi issues too, and thought it was only you?
Well, that'll disconnect them.
So far it has been only me.
Oh,
Well, that'll disconnect them if you bounce to AP.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it doesn't take that long to reboot that one, and then. But mine isn't that I lose internet; it just doesn't actively hand off. Like if I stay here, it'll stay connected to that AP indefinitely. But
if you move to another room,
so that's the other issue That's the other issue I've been having with my cell phone. So when I drive from our house to my to like my job site or whatever, I get pretty close to the Ontario-Quebec border, and my phone doesn't properly switching between the towers on the two sides of the provincial border. So if I'm talking to somebody, it just hangs up on them, and
nice.
like 30 seconds later, it'll switch back from the Quebec tower to the Ontario tower and hang up on them again. My dad, every time it happens, makes the same joke. Well, if you didn't want to talk to me, you could have just told me.
Yeah,
I've been telling him for years.
I used to have a box. It was made by Samsung, but it was provided by Verizon. That like it connects to your broadband internet and essentially is an internet or a cell tower in your house. And because it was the only way I could get signal here, and it could actively hand off when you leave, but it could not actively hand off when you came back. So like if you were on the phone and you walked out to the mailbox, it would hand off to the outside tower. But then if you came back in the house, it would hang up.
oh wow.
It's not very handy at all.
Well, thanks for being here, Tom. Much appreciated. Well,
So I didn't find out until
they charged me $250 to have that box, even though it was because their service was crappy.
Well, I had the same thing with one of the Sprint boxes at my house. I never did get it operational because I had to put a GPS antenna out the side of the house.
Yeah, mine actually sat in that window, ran in through the conduit down because the box was in the kitchen. The conduit ran down to the kitchen.
I wear mine right out the back door. Never got to get a good enough signal with the trees.
Nah, well, I cured mine when it got hit by lightning 2 years ago, and all my stuff got hit by lightning.
Well, you got a fry party here.
Yeah, well, the insurance company paid me for it, so that's fine. It let me buy that fancy piece of orange fiber optic cable.
No,
haven't had any problems since.
You won't get a lightning strike on that between the buildings anymore.
No, I actually there's fiber between the. I have to think about how this is. There's the bluish green one up top. That fiber, that's the fiber that runs to the garage.
Okay, that's all.
That little orange fiber that just runs between the modem and my router, so that if it gets hit, it just cooks their modem and not my router.
Yep. We use fiber as a stopgap on a lot of our stuff. Yeah. External point-to-point APs between buildings.
You know, like I had thought about it, but I didn't ever really pursue it because the last time that I had looked into fiber optic, everything was so expensive.
Oh yeah.
You know, and like I don't even think at that point you could buy pre-made cables. So it was like, but now,
yeah,
any idiot can buy them. Ask me how I know.
My company, we just bought our fourth fusion splicer. All of them are operational. One's gotten a little older, so it's a little slower. We got two that are really fast. We just picked up another one that's for doing ribbon fiber, but also does single strand. So we go into a job now to do the fiber where it used to take us all day. We go into it 3 teams, 4 teams of guys doing it. We're out of here.
Well, the only thing that I don't like on that setup is the copper to fiber adapter that I used, which is, I think it's TP-Link, which is the main company that I use for all my networking stuff. If you disconnect if you were to unplug the Ethernet, it doesn't realize that you don't have internet.
Really?
The computer doesn't realize. So like when the internet goes down, my computer doesn't come up and say no internet because it thinks that it still has the network connection outside of the router.
Yep.
And I forget what that setting is. This one just doesn't support it. And there are others that do, but it works otherwise. So I don't mess with it.
What are you using for a router now?
That's a Edge router 4.
Okay.
I like the Edge routers.
Yeah,
They're powerful enough, and yet you can go in and just mess with
I
anything
have one
and
at
everything.
home now. I have the same thing, the Edge router, but mine only has like 3 ports on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I upgraded to that one after the lightning strike. And I chose that one because it had the fiber port. I wanted to make sure that I could fiber into it. And then same with that. And that's a fully managed switch up there too, because every house should have a managed switch.
Yeah, I've got a Cisco one downstairs in my basement that's managing a managed.
Well, I did that. Like I went to a managed switch because this computer has 2 network cards in it. It's dual NIC, and I wanted to be able to double my bandwidth up to this machine, but this machine also got hit and it burned out one of the NICs.
Oh, cheapers.
Did you tell people? So obviously you've been discussing what's going on next weekend, but did you tell people that you won't be on the air next week?
I did right in the beginning, but I'm glad you brought it up so that the people who have joined late, they can know that there won't be a stream next week because I will be at Orlando Maker Faire, and I will not be streaming live from Orlando Maker Faire because the internet there is garbage.
Is it regular garbage or hot garbage?
Hot garbage. Yeah, there's too many people there, and then like their Wi-Fi is terrible. So
you wouldn't say it's pretty fly for a Wi-Fi?
No. Sean, did you hear what I asked you when you said that you were having internet troubles? I mean, like, is it just dumping the Wi-Fi? Do you want me to restart that access point? Are you on your phone or on your computer? Are you going outside or are you staying within the realm? Because the garage is a metal building, so like you can't go outside. So Chris Lane said the internet there is garbage, just like the rest of the fairgrounds. Yeah, that place is getting a little old and definitely needs to be renovated. But
yeah,
I'm inside on PC. All right, I can restart it. The reason that I ask is because I am having Wi-Fi problems with my phone, but it only seems to be me. So, have you tried turning it off and back on again? Your PC, I mean.
You tried calling it a piece of crap and then kicking it down the stairs.
Take your own router there. Yeah, but the router won't do me any good if I don't have a good connection.
We run fiber all the way down to Orlando.
Yeah, well, because I mean, there's so many people there. Even your cellular connection is garbage.
Yeah,
I can still use the term cellular, right? That's not like so old school that nobody uses it anymore. What
else do you call it?
I don't know. Mobile data. I went into the auto parts store to pick up an order one day, and I said to the kid who was like 12, I said, "I'm here to pick up a web order," and he goes, "A what?" I said, "A web order, off the internet." "Oh, an online order." And I'm like, "Yep." And then he's laughing at me, and I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Web. Nobody uses that term anymore." And I said, I looked him dead in the face. I said, "Son, I was on the internet when there was no pictures."
I had to dial up the hill both ways.
Son said, I can't turn anything on. That's why I'm single. You can't turn it on until you turn it off. So I have a joke that I totally was going to tell today, and then I wasn't sure if it was fully appropriate, and if it
now
would
you're going to go for it anyways.
If it would upset somebody. But I've got this thing going where I spring these like dad jokes on Zach, like just out of the blue. I'll spring a dad joke on him, and like I'll start, and he'll kind of listen to me, and then he'll realize it's a joke, and then he's like he's so disappointed, and it makes me laugh So hard.
Like the ones you used to have Xander do at the end of the Xander thing Thursday.
Oh, even worse than those. In fact, I got one off of my Amazon Echo today. I'm not going to say her name.
They're bad.
And this isn't the one that I wasn't going to tell, but where do couples fight at the mall? In the feud court.
Oh, you know,
I don't think we can be friends anymore.
the one from her yesterday at my parents' house was, why did the lioness cross the road to get to the other pride?
I don't like you anymore either.
So, yeah, the Amazon joke lady is not so good sometimes.
So I went downstairs. I'm not going to be able to tell this story without laughing.
I'm laughing because you're laughing. I don't even know the story.
So I go downstairs and Zach's playing. It was after school. And I said, every day when he gets home, I go and I find him. I'm like, hey, buddy, how was your day today? And he's, good. It's always good. He never has a bad day. Must be great. And I said, yeah, I didn't have such a good day today. And he's like, no. And I said, no, I got into an accident.
Oh, you're already laughing. That's always a good sign.
Well, you don't leave the house.
Well, sometimes I go to lunch. I said, I got into an accident today. I rear-ended a guy. And he's like, well, that is a bad day. And I said, yeah, the guy got out of the car. He was really mad. He was just yelling when he got out of the car. And the first thing that I noticed is that he was a dwarf. This was the point where Zach goes,
oh no. I already know what the punchline of this one is, because this joke's older than you are.
He's just yelling. He's just yelling up a storm. He says, I'm not happy.
Oh, buddy.
And I said, so which one are you then? And that's when the fight started.
Oh, Glenn. Not PC, buddy.
He referred to the proper term.
Yeah, what's wrong with dwarf? Oh, so yeah, okay. Maybe that's not the most appropriate joke. Maybe it's a little politically incorrect, but if you know me, too bad. Oh my God.
Guys.
Like, so I'll have these jokes, and I mean, they'll be the stupidest jokes, but I won't be able to get through them because as soon as I get to the point where he realizes it's a dumb joke, because I'll just go to him. I'll go, hey, buddy, and he'll go, yeah, and then I'll be like, so a pig and a what was it? A pig, a chicken, and a cow walk into a barbecue. The end. But as soon as he realizes it's a joke, he's like, oh, or he'll bury his face. Oh yeah, it's and then it's like sometimes like I'll come across these dumb dad jokes and I'll be like, oh, I have to tell Zach that one, and I'll be laughing about it for hours until I get to tell him, and then I'm laughing so hard and it's such a stupid joke.
Mark had to follow up on yours.
That joke was short-sighted. Yeah, as soon as I said that when I noticed he was a dwarf, Zach's like, oh. Oh yeah. So, and then of course, like Xander will hear me laughing and be like, what? And Xander's got the same sense of humor I do, so he's always coming up with stupid one-liners too. So, it's all good fun. Living in this house is hard. Yeah, it's all good though.
Did you epoxy these in?
They're just they're probably beat in with a hammer.
Oh.
The holes weren't consistent in size, so like some of them you printed and they fit, and some of them they didn't. So I just they're tapered, not the holes, the plugs.
Oh.
So, yeah. It's all good. I am literally exhausted. So we were done putting the big tree up about 4:00, and then drug all this stuff in, put away whatever we could put away. And I say that because, like, I'm real lazy. I'll leave the ladders out there through the whole season until I know I don't need to bring them out anymore. But and then I worked on the truck for a little bit, but I was working on frame level stuff, so I was hunched over, and then my back gave up. Like, my back was just like, nope, no more. So, yeah, I finally had to come in. And so Zach and I have a tradition, and it's usually on Friday nights, that we go to the treat store, which is the local Wawa. And we usually go on Friday nights, but Friday night he said, I'd rather go tomorrow night. And I said, okay. Well, then I'm like completely wrecked last night. And I'm like, all right, let's go. I'm just so it was nice that last night was the roll your clock back an hour. Because
I forgot about that.
I didn't. I used that. I woke up at like 6:40 this morning, and I thought, no, I'm not getting up. And I went, oh, wait, 7:40.
Kay and I were also grateful for that this morning.
Yeah. It's always nice. And then it bites you in the spring.
Yes.
Right in the spring.
We should roll the clocks back every day.
So
I've heard that.
I think we should roll them back a half hour and just leave them alone.
Just leave it alone.
I've heard that. I've heard that Ontario, where I live, and one of the other provinces are looking at just not doing it next year.
Well, Florida has got a bill that's, I don't know, they've been kicking it around for a while where we're not going to. But then they were like, yeah, but everybody in the same time zone needs to then, and it's like, who cares? Like, I don't know. So I think starting this week, though, I usually work 8 to 4. I think I'm going to just get up at the same time and work 7 to 3, which will give me more time in the afternoon to put up Christmas lights. So I can get her done. There's still a lot to do, a lot to do. And then some people may know this about me, and most people don't. But I'm a horrific procrastinator.
I would believe it.
Last year when I took the Christmas lights down, I put a lot of the decorations just in the house garage, where they've been now for a whole year. So it was less distance to drag them out. I had cleaned out that garage, that side. It's a 2-car garage, but it's got 2 single-car garage doors on it. And so that side of the garage has always just been full of miscellaneous junk, but we park on the other side. And last year we cleaned it out because we have Santa here every year on the 13th, so that kids can come and be just in a very not organized night of hanging out with Santa. Like, it's not, there's no pressure to it. It's very calm and relaxed, and it works out real well. Cause we've got people that come that, like, their kids are well, I don't know how I want to put it, on the spectrum. It's probably the safest way to go. And it works out really well for them, because then they're not overwhelmed. So it's just kind of a nice thing to do. And it's December 13th was my daughter's birthday. And so we kind of do it to honor her. And for those who don't know, we lost her in Hurricane Charlie in 2004. So it's just kind of a good way to remember her. In fact, the pink tree that was in the images that I showed earlier, that's her tree. But I don't even remember where I was going with this story. Oh, we cleaned out the garage to put Santa in there because the year before we had a little bit of inclement weather, but we always do it on the 13th. So we we made a little Santa area, but I didn't have anything to really like block it off with, so I used moving blankets. So it was kind of creepy because it was like, come see Santa in this mini storage, like, so we have to decorate it. We have to decorate. I mean, we had like a Christmas tree and stuff in there, but
At least it wasn't in the back of a white van.
no, but it kind of looked like it was in the back of a white van. So we got to try to decorate it a little better this year. But yeah, but this year I got to make sure, and I say it every year, there's a section in my big garage that's dedicated to just Christmas storage. And it's a like a 10 by 20 area, I guess, roughly. And it's overrun with crap that shouldn't be in there. And a lot of Christmas stuff that we don't use that needs to be donated. So, and every year I say, oh, this is the year we're going to go in there and clean it out. And then we don't. So this has got to be the year because I need that bay in the house garage for Xander's car because the sun is beating it and it needs.
Which car did you get for Xander? I don't remember now. I know we talked about it.
It's an 06 Nissan Maxima that's featured on Fun King Garage.
Oh right, you were what did you replace on it now? You replaced something on it. It's the only video that you've posted so far.
Yeah, it's the only video on my channel. Yeah. Keep rubbing it in. Yeah, no, I had to. I did like spark plugs and stuff, and it had a vacuum leak, so we replaced the intake manifold. So, but that car is like stupid fast for what it is. I used to think that our Ford Flex was quick, and then I started driving that Nissan. Whew.
So you can put a 2x4 under the gas pedal.
Yeah, I told Xander I was going to put restrictor plates underneath the intake manifold, but I don't think he'll be a crazy driver. So Mitch said Xander got a 70s Corvette, right? Nope, the only 70s Corvette got sold to a gentleman named Paul, who sends me regular updates on the changes and the updates that he's done to it.
Really?
He's taking very good care of it.
That's nice to know.
And then the money that I got from that has gone towards putting the Fummins together.
Mark, why are you restricting him to one?
Where what?
Mark, so you can pick up girl with it. I said, why are you
Pick up
restricting him to
girl
one?
Well, it's funny because he said to me, he goes, can I pick up chicks in this car? And I said, well, you can pick up chicks in any car. Like, hey, you want to get in? But then they call the police on you. So no, I bought that car because I needed something to drive when the truck crapped out. And then we just decided that it would become Xander's car once the truck was fixed. He passed driver's ed with an A. Nice. So now we can go get his permit. I think he's a little, I don't think he can hear me. I think he's a little like timid about driving. Like he's had the opportunity to try. He can go drive right now because he never leaves our property. Like he can just drive in circles, but he doesn't take me up on that. So I think he's a little intimidated by driving. So, but it's all right. Zach, on the other hand,
he wants to drive now.
That boy, well, he does. He's driven my truck.
Okay.
I mean, he's driven here on the property. He's scary.
Well, I remember with the go-karts and stuff, you said he just gets that thing tools around.
Oh, yeah. I turned up the speed on it, and then I said to him, I said, now you get used to this. We can turn it up a little more. He made one lap and came up, and he goes, can you turn it up more now? Yeah, he's...
I have a nephew that's like that. They would get along quite well, I would think.
Yeah, he's a ripping little machine is what he is. So... yeah, he's definitely going to be my driver. I've been blessed with the ability to drive. I said they've never ever put wheels or a steering wheel on anything I can't drive, and one or the other of those are optional. You know, like it doesn't matter. Like I can literally get into anything and drive it.
I've always said if it's got wheels, tracks, or treads, I can at least move it.
Yeah, I mean, but and I'm an aggressive driver, but I'm a very confident driver, and I think that's what makes me a good driver. Like, I mean, I'm already gauging, even if I'm not driving aggressively, if I'm just coming back from the grocery store, I'm still driving everybody else's car. I'm debating on what they're going to do so that I can cut them off and give them the finger. No, I
I
don't.
mean, but I mean that is definitely part of the stuff here too. Is that like we'll be driving along and I'll look at somebody doing something and I'll say to Kay, "Oh, you know what? When this guy gets up here, he's going to do this," and it'll be just you have to be paying attention to what everybody else is doing.
Well, and I double pay attention when there's a car around me with an Ontario plate.
It's only ever happened once, but
Or New Jersey.
No, we get Ontario people down here all the time. And it's just like, oh, holy crap! I'm just gonna pull over and wait till they get home.
Say they don't know how to drive without snow.
The one night we had to bring Meek into the emergency vet. She swallowed a dime. She had to have surgery to have it removed because it got stuck at her, like the exit to her stomach. So it was like 4 a.m. and I had to work in the morning, so I had to be up in 2.5 hours to get to actually go to work. And we're driving. There's nobody on the highway, right? Like nobody's out driving at 4 a.m. We saw occasional car here and there.
Right.
So we're coming on to an on-ramp and I see a car come up onto the on-ramp. So I politely move over a lane. So I'm now in the middle lane so that he doesn't have to try and govern his speed to be in front of me or behind me. He can just come over at his leisure.
Right.
So he flips on his signal. He starts coming over and I'm watching him like he's coming over into this lane too. So I move over into the third lane. There's 3 lanes total. So I'm now in the far outside lane. He's coming all the way across. Finally, I had to lay on the horn. He had no idea there's anybody else on the highway. So he swerves like this and cuts all the way back over to the far right lane. And I'm like,
Or if he was asleep.
So you've never merged onto a highway while taking a nap?
apparently, I think what happens too is that there's lots of people that work at 4 a.m. or they're on their way to work 4 a.m. and they're so used to the fact that the highway's empty, they're just on autopilot.
Yeah.
Right? I get in. Yeah, because it was right before a split off where you'd have to choose whether you're going to Montreal or Cornwall, and so the guy's probably trying to make sure that he's in the far left lane so that he doesn't get forced to go the direction he doesn't want to go, and he's just so used to it's just
Yeah, when I merge into traffic, I try, like when I'm coming down the ramp, I try to gauge how fast the other cars are going so that I'm going at least as fast as they are when I merge in. And then of course, if there's a gap, I try to shoot that gap so I can merge in without any cars being there. So it was, I was coming home when I was a security guard, a security officer. I was coming down the ramp onto the Florida Turnpike, and it was like 2:00 in the morning. So there's not typically anybody out, but all of a sudden here's this clump of cars. So I'm in my 92 Eagle Talon, and I'm coming down the ramp, and I'm just laying into it, just hammering it. So by the time I get to the bottom of the ramp and onto the turnpike, I'm already doing probably 90 plus miles an hour. Well, the reason there was a clump of cars was because the lead car was the Florida Highway Patrol. And it was when they first started driving the Camaros. It tells you how long ago this was.
20 years.
And because now it's all Dodges. But so like I merge in and he comes up next to me and he flips on his dome light and he's driving. He's like looking over at me like this, and I'm driving along. So I click on my dome light and I went, like, what? Like I was just trying to be, and then he turns off his light and he like drives off. And I thought, dude, I could totally waste you. Yeah, that was always a fun run home because there's a huge neighborhood in between where I worked and where I lived, and that neighborhood, to put this as politically correct as possible, was full of people who drove Honda Civics with big wings and fat wheels on them and fart can mufflers. So every time I'd get onto the turnpike, it was time for a street race. Like I'd get on the turnpike and also they'd come up and start revving at me. So sometimes I would downshift to 4th gear, but most of the time I just stayed in 5th and pretended like I was trying really hard for like 3 miles. And then I would downshift and just be like,
Well, I can't understand some of those newer setups is those, what is it, caster they put in or camber they put in them?
Oh yeah.
The wheels are like pointing out like
this.
this.
And then the rims are real wide and the tires aren't, and they jet the tires when they fill them. So that they're
like,
it's a thing. It's just like that.
To me, it'd be way too expensive on rubber.
Yeah, well, just like that, the whole South Carolina, whatever they call it, South Carolina squat, where all your oil is running to the back of your oil pan and not getting picked up properly.
How long would I miss? Nothing.
Kay said, my favorite thing is James talking about places like everyone on live stream knows where he's talking about. We all know where Montreal is. That's where those people talk funny and they're pretty rude.
It's in the cabinet.
No offense to anybody from Montreal.
Montreal's in the cabinet with the steak seasonings and the A1, right?
I've been to Montreal. It wasn't fun.
It wasn't fun.
My sister. Okay, so my mom and my sister used to live in New Hampshire, and one
I've
time
been
my
to New
sister and I
Hampshire.
decided we were going to take a road trip to Canada because she had been studying Spanish in school, and she had I don't know if she was told or if she was just under the impression that Montreal was Spanish Canada.
Nope.
And I'm like, I don't think that's right. And she's like, oh yeah, they speak Spanish there. So when we get
That
to
is
the
an
border,
incorrect analysis.
yeah, when we get to the border and the border agent looks at her and starts speaking in French, she looks directly at me and goes, I don't think that's Spanish. And I'm like, no, that is French. And then the lady very rudely was like, what's your business in Canada? And then she's actually the one that asked if we were leaving, if we were bringing anything into Canada that we were leaving. And I said, well, we did just eat Taco Bell, so I might have to take a hellacious dump. And she did not find that funny.
Well,
Oh, that's not
people
fun,
Don't
King.
have a sense of humor. I mean,
yeah. And I won't tell you what we nicknamed the gas stations there. It was like $4 a liter. And then the guy screwed us over on the exchange because we only had American currency. Yeah, I won't tell you what we named the Esso station
SOB.
because it's not family friendly.
Esso's still up there, isn't it?
I don't know. Do you guys have Esso stations?
We still have Esso.
Yeah.
Esso, Shell, and Petro. And then
Is it
there's
still
also, like,
$4 a liter?
No, it was never $4 a liter.
What do you mean it was never $4 a liter?
The highest I've seen gas get so far is like $1.60 a liter.
No. Oh, you know what it was? It was after the conversion.
Oh,
Yeah, they bent us over for like $4 a liter. That's what it was.
that seems like highway robbery.
It was.
Like
Well, it was a little Esso like in the middle of nowhere.
You should have sent an SOS.
Yeah. Tom Lama said where they worship the maple leaf. Don't talk bad about the maple leaf. The maple leaf is the most amazing thing ever.
Y'all gonna get yourselves in trouble.
Do not talk bad about the maple leaf. I personally love the maple. I wish the US would adopt the maple leaf as our logo. I once badmouthed the maple leaf, and some dude just like ripped me a new butthole. He was telling me how like the Stars and Stripes were really stupid, and I'm like, okay, if you feel that way. Like I didn't cry myself to sleep on a huge pillow.
She did. For your giant head?
Yeah. It's like an orange on a toothpick.
Uh-oh.
It's like Sputnik. Spherical, yet quick pointing part.
Oh, that's gonna go bad.
You died.
That's the last. Yeah, I forgot that the gas still spawned. So I just saw one spawn right in front of me, and it shot one fireball and destroyed my little protective tent.
So when Xander was a more wee lad, and I can't remember if it was when he was playing Fortnite, but every time he would die, he would be like, "Oh!" So I started this thing every time I heard him do that. I go, "You died." And it would make him so mad. I could be anywhere in the house and I'd hear him and I'd yell, "You died!"
But it was true, right? He did die.
Is he actually okay? I just realized he's been away from his computer for a bit.
He doesn't
5
generally
minutes,
like to play while I'm streaming because he has to be quiet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And he can't slam to death.
Yeah. Well, he can't
When he
talk to his
dies.
friends. He's probably down on Discord on his phone in his room.
Spends all his time doing the internet stuffs now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all of his friends, like his group of friends, are all over the world. So some are even Ontario Canadian.
I heard his group of friend.
His group of friend.
On the
Yeah.
Canadian.
Oh, hello, little guy. Oh, there you go.
Oh, he was so cute while he
Oh.
lasted.
Oof. Oh, you're gonna go through the portal. The portal is broken. Do you see that?
Yeah, it's turned sideways.
Yep.
We got a message for you.
Can you believe it?
Oh my gosh, it's Eric Strasser. How in the world did you end up in here, Eric? Okay, so Eric was one of my kids. He's not really a kid anymore, which makes me sad. Eric worked with me and for me at Best Buy and Best Buy Mobile. So Eric and I always had a great time. And the story that I love to tell about Eric was he would do this gagging thing. So he would be with a customer in home phones, and nobody ever wanted to work in home phones because they're home phones. How much help do you need in a home phone? But here, everybody needs help in the home phones. And so he was with a customer one time in home phones, and I walked by and crop dusted the whole entire entire aisle in the store. And so then all of a sudden Eric's back there and he's like, yeah, he's back there and he goes, what? Like this. And I'm dying. I couldn't breathe. I was laughing so hard.
Oh man.
We were probably like the worst Best Buy employees ever. And I don't mean just I don't mean just Eric and I mean like all of mobile. Like we just did whatever we wanted.
He just posted his vomit.
Yeah. He was like, what? And it was just
smell it from here.
It was so funny. It was so funny.
I am
hope you are
offended.
well, Eric. I haven't talked to you or seen you in a long time. I only tell true stories, and my stories are always epic. So
And fart related.
sometimes they're fart related. Oh my gosh, yeah, it was good. I just crop dusted the whole aisle. So, and the customer smelled it, which was even funnier. So, yeah, I just told the story yesterday about the lady who came in and told me that she was recently diagnosed with a disease that's in exactly the opposite spot in the brain as Parkinson's disease. And without skipping a beat, I looked her straight in the face and said, so it makes you sit really, really still? And she just blank stared me, and I thought, oh, I messed up. And then all of a sudden she goes, oh, I get it. That's really funny. I'm like,
Wow.
Phew. Text me. We'll hook up sometime. I don't go out in public very much anymore because I'm very antisocial, and I have I'm not really antisocial. I have social anxiety. But I mean, I could definitely see a trip to Moe's in the future. So yeah, I used to take, like, we would just randomly go, oh, I'm taking Eric to lunch today for training purposes, and we go have like an hour lunch. Andrew.
I've had a huge uptick in the number of people trying to catfish me over the past 48 hours.
Like just randomly, or like through your YouTube channel, or
on Twitter and sometimes Instagram, but I think all the last ones over the past couple days have been Twitter. And they always start like, "Hi, how are you?" Like, "Good, you?" Not bad. And then like, "I saw your profile and thought you were attractive. Do you use Google Hangouts?" No.
Okay, nobody uses Google Hangouts.
Give me your number. What number? Your cell phone number. Oh no. Well, send me a picture of you. There's a picture of me in my profile.
Well, yeah. How do they know you look attractive if they don't have your picture?
Yeah. And then the one person I kept going with them for like 2 weeks, and whenever they asked me a question about like where I was or what I did, I'd give an answer that related to Star Wars. So I was like, "Oh, I'm currently staying in Tatooine. Do you know where that is? It's near Padawan." So he's like, "Oh yeah, I know where that is." I posted a bunch of screenshots, I think, on Twitter at some point. But yeah, I kept them going for a while, and then finally they started asking for like Visa gift cards so they could feed their kid.
They can't eat plastic.
Yeah, who wants to eat a gift card?
Right.
No, they're not even very tasty.
The one person contacted me. They're like, I hate to do this. I'm on a contract with, it was an air conditioner company. I don't remember what it was, which one. But they're not going to pay me until the job is done, and I can't afford to feed my kid. And so they're like, I'm like, oh, well, where are you right now? And they mentioned like some small village somewhere in Africa. I'm like, oh, that's such a coincidence. I have a friend that lives near there. I can get stuff brought to you. And they're like, really? I said, yeah, I can get food brought to you. And so they're like, oh, it'd be easier if you could just send me money. I'm like, how is it easier if you're looking for food? Like, how is it easier for me to send you money if I can just get food brought to you? And they're like, I don't trust your friend. I only trust you. I'm like, okay. I'm gonna go contact Maytag Repair and find out why they're not paying their employees, because they're a multi-million-dollar company or whatever, whoever it was. I don't remember specifically, but
Yeah, usually when I get those kind of messages, like it'll just be like, "Hey, are you still doing YouTube?" or something like that, and then I'll go, "Oh, here we go," and I'll be like, "Yep, I sure am." "Oh, would you like to review our filament?" "Nope, I certainly do not."
well, because all the filament ones are always okay. Order it off of Amazon and we'll review you after you post a, or we'll refund you after you post a
5-star
good
review.
review.
Yep.
Yep.
Leave a
I know a
5-star
couple of
review.
people that have done that. They get the money and then they go back and change it to a 1-star review, and we're like, I was paid to put this review up. I'm just clarifying. No, I didn't even try the filament when I bought it.
Oh, why didn't I think about that? That's amazing.
I had one person that ordered. They're like, oh, I want to try like 4 or 5 rolls, and they talked them into paying for the 4 or 5 rolls. So they ordered them, got reimbursed, and then returned the rolls of filament and kept the money.
Got the money back.
Yeah. I just got paid
Brilliant.
$200 for a review.
Yeah, and Andrew said I get that every week. Yeah, it's and it's always like the same 3 companies that do that too.
Yeah.
They're so shady.
I think
No.
I've got a couple of products that I've been sent for review, but then I think I'm going to take a bit of a break, and I'm going to take maybe print and play down to just one good video a month.
Well, I will admit that I have a product here that I was sent for review that in the beginning, like I agreed to it, and then it got a little shady. Then it took forever to get here, and they're putting a rush on me. And I finally told them that in that amount of time frame, I will not be able to do a review. I will only be able to do like a informative type video. And so, I mean, I sent that email today, so we'll see what they have to say about that. But I will never ever be rushed to do a review because I don't lie in my reviews. Like, it's just the way it is. So.
The 2 products that I have left. So I have one product where they sent me like a welcome kit, but they haven't actually sent me the product yet because it is a Kickstarter campaign. It's a Kickstarter campaign I'm more willing to believe will succeed because it's putting together 2 existing products. So they've already got working prototypes. They've built 50 of them, and they're ready to mass market. And I think the Kickstarter was funded very, very quickly. It's essentially a product that combines a Raspberry Pi Pico with an ESP32. I think it's an ESP32. I can't remember if it's a 32 or an 8266. But they can communicate with each other. So from my point of view, I was like, well, if I were to build, say, like a little handheld, the ESP32 could actually store all the source code for the game, so you could load a bootloader into it and then flash the Pico depending on which game you pick from the menu. So then you just have to figure out how both of them can communicate with the screen. And then the other one is a device that turns a Raspberry Pi into a tablet computer. And they've contacted me because it's a little delayed. But, I said, like, my grandmother passed away. So I took a week off from doing too much. And it'll be done, soon. So.
Always riding that grandma passing away thing. God.
Well, it's the last one, so I'll never have another chance to do that.
Oh,
we're 10 minutes over. Did you notice?
I know we are.
You just don't want to let go of Uncle Ron.
I was kind of hoping my dinner was going to be here, but it's not arrived yet.
That wasn't.
Is it from Papa?
Well, it's pizza, but it's not from Papa's. It's coming from Little Sleazy's. I mean, Little Caesars.
You know what? I like for the fact that it's so cheap. I don't mind Little Caesars pizza.
It makes me sick to my stomach, but most chain pizzas do. It's something in the sauce.
No, I could have brought pizza with me from New York.
Yeah, he's not on the airplane.
I would put it in my carry-out. It would have been frozen in the hold.
It's not the same. It's not the same.
Uncle Ron is known for getting pizza from New York to places where it's not supposed to be.
Well, pizza and White Castle.
And bagels.
And bagels. Oh my God, he brought bagels one time, like a 55-gallon garbage bag full of them. Like,
Yeah, that was Gainesville.
I didn't want to eat bagels after that for like a year.
Did
When I was
you
being
guys end up
Gainesville's
watching?
Maker Faire.
Well, your kids will be the guy who brings food to events for a while.
Have you guys seen Squid Games?
Seen what?
Squid Games? Or
No,
Squid Game? Or whatever? You know the general premise of it, though.
I do. Yeah.
Okay, so there's this YouTube channel called Warp Zone, and they posted a parody, and this guy is dressed up, and he's obviously supposed to be the streamer Ninja, and he's going by the name D Money, and he calls his fan D Bags. And so he goes, I got sent this a super special card, which is like the invitation card from Squid Game, and he's like, he's like, I got it fair and square. I totally won this game of hacky sack. I didn't get slapped at all. Because during the opening of Squid Game, when the guy's playing hacky sack before he gets invited to these games, he keeps losing, and then every time he loses, the guy that he's playing against gets to slap him across the face. So like, so it cuts to him, and he's in Squid Game, and they've superimposed him into footage from the show, and he's like, "Yeah, it's super exclusive. They took all my stuff. They took my credit cards, my wallet. They took my phone, but luckily, I always keep a backup phone in my places." And he's just talking because he thinks it's just paintball. So he's, whoa, why are all these people running away? It's just paintball, man. Oh, that guy got 2 for flinching. Anyways, it was a pretty well done video. We had a good laugh over it. Sean absolutely hates Squid Game.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
literally, I think, the only person that hates Squid Game right now. But
Priscilla and I have gotten back into watching Lock and Key because the second season came out.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, but it's been so long we'd forgotten, so we went back and started watching the first season again.
It's been about a year since I watched that one.
So yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
But the other new one that I'm really enjoying is Ghosts, which I guess they did it as a British show in 2019 and only got like 6 episodes, but it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. Enjoying that. So
okay, and I just finished watching.
Not lately.
Okay. No, I just wonder if you got into that one at
Yeah,
all.
don't. I haven't finished it. So
Okay.
Okay, and I just finished watching a new Netflix cartoon called Inside Job, and like the general premise is that like the Illuminati and the Black State are 100% real, and all these conspiracy theories are actually true, and it's the government organization that keeps everything running and making everybody that think the Earth isn't flat and all the other stuff, and it was pretty entertaining. They've got a character that's a hybrid between a human and a dolphin, and his last name is Dolphman, Dolphman, except for he was born human and then was converted into this human dolphin hybrid. And there's a part where they're like, so you were born human and then converted into a human dolphin hybrid, but your last name's always been Dolphin. That doesn't make sense. Nice. Yeah.
Sean apparently knows that one.
Inside Job is 100% Rick and Morty, except for it's Rick and Morty if they made Morty not an idiot. It's about this guy that's very obviously. I'm sorry, it's about this girl that would be the Morty character, except for she's super intelligent, and her dad is an alcoholic, super intelligent guy that's done all these crazy things. And
check that out.
One of the premises is that they sent Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin to the moon, and they never came back. They just decided to stay there, and I won't get any more into the premise, but they had to hire an actor to play Buzz Aldrin, and that's like the first like little bit of that episode, the explanation as to what's going to go on. It was quite funny. I recommend it.
I'll check that out. All right, well, you got anything you want to plug?
Just my nose.
His laptop in and out again.
Yeah, that's true. There'll be a new video this week. I've got a pretty interesting look at Windows Millennium Edition. The video is filmed; it just needs to be edited together.
A malfunction edition.
Oh my! I like spoiler alert. You know, for the however many people are still watching, I went into it with the idea that Windows ME is not as bad as everybody remembers it. You know, like if you have good drivers and all the other stuff, it probably runs fine. It just wasn't as stable as everything else. I set it up. I got the drivers installed. That went fine. The very first piece of software I installed, it wouldn't boot back up afterwards. I had to go into safe mode, remove the software to get it to start up. and then go find another version of the software, because even though it worked perfectly fine in Windows 98, installing it on Windows ME caused the computer to not boot. And then I realized during the entire time when I installed it, first boot and everything else, the splash screen just never shows. It's always just a blank screen and then drops into Windows.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
The ME for Malfunction Edition was correct.
I was able to get video of it blue screening. So anyways.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just checking with Xander. I guess he's streaming next. So
Windows has had a pretty good history of getting every other operating system right.
Yeah. The video starts off with me going, long before Windows 8 Windows 8 was the worst operating system ever released by Microsoft, there's Windows Vista, the worst operating system ever released by Microsoft. And long before Windows Vista, there was Windows Millennium Edition, the worst operating system ever released by Microsoft.
Well, I would like to say that I have a video coming out this week, but I say that every week because I
And it
just have to
never is.
finish editing it and then I never get to it. So I'm going to say I don't have a video coming out this week so that maybe
It'll happen.
So it is half edited. I love the piece of equipment that we got to play with, and I look forward to playing with it more. But time is just not on my side right now. So, but
I think Andrew is confusing Windows ME and Windows CE. Windows ME was Millennium Edition. Windows CE is the embedded operating system that they designed that kind of looks... Well, I mean, there's multiple versions of it. The final one looked like Windows XP, but that's what they put on the Pocket PCs and stuff like that.
yeah, the original nano PCs and stuff.
Yeah.
So
There was a funny video in the back in the day where it was like, finally, we're taking the portability of Windows CE, the cutting edge features of Windows ME, and the known reliability and stability of Windows NT to make Windows Cement, CE, ME,
Yeah.
NT. Yeah.
all right. Anything else you want to plug before we hang this up?
Nope, we're 16 minutes over, and that's probably about as much as anybody can take of me.
Yeah. Well, and Xander's queuing up to stream. So
Alrighty.
this is the point where I say thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate each and every one of you guys, because without you, these streams would be senseless. And James and I wouldn't do it, and then we just wouldn't talk to each other, apparently, because that's the way
Because we barely talk as it is.
That's right. It was fun to see some names in here tonight that we haven't seen in a long time or at all. It was fun seeing my young'un Eric to come in, and it's past my bedtime. And have to take Ron away. Oh, yeah, because he's your ride.
He's my ride, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, we definitely better wrap it up then. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we will not see you next week. Again, Orlando Maker Fair, but we will be back the week after. Maybe we'll squeeze a stream in there somewhere else. You just never know. Might even be wearing pants during that one. Thank you all. We love each and every one of you, and until next time, as always, print on.
Print on.